Hello everybody, my name is Leire Echevarria and I work in a research center in the north of Spain called Tecnalia. It's a pleasure for me to be in this summer school, even if remotely, so I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me. I will be speaking about the CITADEL project, which is a European research project funded by the Horizon 2020 program. Some basic data about CITADEL. CITADEL started in October 2016. It's a 3-year-long project, so it's almost at the end of it. The budget is 3.6 million euros, and we are 11 partners from 5 different European countries. We have social scientists in the consortium, ICT and technology providers, SMEs, large organizations, and 3 public administrations, the City of Antwerp, Regione di Puglia in Italy, and VARAM, which is the Ministry of Regional Development in Latvia. How does CITADEL fit in the e-government context? So in 2016, the European Union released the e-government action plan, which is active until 2020. And they defined 3 main pillars. One is digitize and enable, the second one is connect, and the third one is engage. CITADEL focuses mainly on the digitize and enable, so we are trying to make digital public services more efficient and effective, seeking a personalization for the citizens and trying to understand what citizens think about the digital public services that they're using. And then we are focusing on the engage part, in which we are trying to understand how willing are the public servants to collaborate with citizens and to co-create with citizens and other stakeholders better and improved digital public services. So the objectives of the project are as follows. The first one is to analyze certain information that is available and try to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of the PAs, and this will result in a set of recommendations. To incentivize the co-creation of digital public services on both sides, both on the public servant side and also on the citizen side. To increase the participation of the usage of digital public services by citizens by improving their experience in the use of such digital public services, to facilitate such use, and also to validate the whole results of the project in at local level, at regional level, and national level. And how do we aim to do this? So first, in order to start an improvement process, we first need to understand. And this is what we called in the project, understand to transform. When we understand what's happening, then we can start improving it. And we do this in CITADEL by co-creating. And so we call it co-create to transform. And then we have the supporting pillar, which are the tools that we have created in order to be able to realize the pillar of understand to transform and co-create to transform. And we have named it as ICT enablers to transform. So in order to understand to transform, we need to collect information from different sources, from the citizens themselves, from the websites that the public administration use, from open data portals. We need to analyze this information, and finally we have to recommend which should be the next steps in order to improve such public services. In the case of co-create to transform, once we have analyzed the problems of the services, we need to focus on one specific digital public service, and we need to understand what's the need. So we have to identify this need. We need to team up between stakeholders, so citizens, NGOs, private sector, etc. And then together we do this co-creation. This co-creation can go from the design up to the implementation of the service. In the case of the ICT enablers, these are the ones that we have developed in the context of the project. The source code is available and is open, so anybody that wishes to use these enablers can download them from the link that you see in the screen. So these are the tools that we have generated in the context of the project, as mentioned before. The first one is the CITADEL Intelligence Service Discovery. This component is focused on improving the experience of the citizens when logging into the e-government portal. So here, based on the profile of the citizen, we don't store any private data. We analyze different aspects like the cookies and so on, and the time in which the citizen contacted and accessed the portal. Here, based on this data that we have, we personalize the offering of the digital public services that could be of use, that could be of interest for the citizen. Then we have the KPA repo generator. In this case, we are obtaining data from different sources, open data sources and closed sources, and we link them, and that results in some sort of KPIs that the public administrations can analyze. The CITADEL User Assessment Service allows the citizen to evaluate the quality of the service. For that, we use a star-based rating system, like the one, for instance, in TripAdvisor, and we also allow them to include some text that then we analyze using natural language programming techniques. We have also developed a co-creation methodology and its supporting tool that covers the whole life cycle of a service, from ideation to the maintenance. Of course, security management, which allows for the privacy, encryption, and so on of the data that is being stored. And then DigiMat. DigiMat is a tool that allows to evaluate the maturity of a public administration. And overall, this completes the CITADEL ecosystem. I will be talking about the DigiMat because I think this is of relevance. It could be a relevant tool to analyze the maturity of a public administration in terms of digital aspects and also the interaction between citizens and public administrations. So the objective of DigiMat is to perform an assessment on the maturity of a public administration with respect to the provision of digital services. We do this through questionnaires. It's an online tool that can be accessed. And then finally, the result is a recommendation that includes numerical and graphical data with the recommendations for the improvement. The questionnaires are accessible in this document. So if you're interested to see which kind of questions we are asking and which kind of recommendations we are working on, you can read them in that document. The target users of the DigiMat are the public administrations, and the added value is to know the digital maturity of the public administrations and which aspects I, as public administration, should take in order to become more mature. I would like to note and to stress that we are not trying to compare or benchmark public administrations. We don't do that in the tool. We just analyze this maturity. So we have defined 5 maturity levels. The level 1 is the public administration has presence on the web. The second level, we have unidirectional access between citizens and the public administration. On the third level, we have a bidirectional interaction between the citizens and the public administration. In the level 4, we have what we call an integration of services. So this is like a one-stop shop of all digital public services. And finally, in level 5, we have all of the above plus cross-border interaction between different public administrations. We have defined and we analyze 4 dimensions: technology, organization, people, and legal. In the case of technology, we analyze all the data processing techniques, open data, availability, and so on. And we also analyze different aspects of ICT technologies used. In the case of organization, we analyze the relationship with external agents, so with other public administrations, with other stakeholders, and also the interaction with citizens, and how willing the public servants are to act, to interact with citizens. In people, we also have the interaction with citizens and the training to the people involved in the daily activities of the public administration. And finally, the legal aspects, we are focusing on standards compliance and GDPR. For the creation of the Digimat, we have analyzed and several sources. We wanted it to be rigorous, so we based our questions on official documents that can be accessed and that are available online to everybody. So we took several official reports coming from the European Commission and other international institutions like OECD and so on. Also, we focused on different European regulations and legislation, like for instance the reuse of the public sector information, the European Interoperability Framework, the Free Flow of Non-Personal Data, GDPR, the Web Accessibility Initiative, NIS, the eIDAS regulation, the ISA 2 program, multilingualism, and so on. We also took into account best practices and standards like the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, standard of Senelec on accessibility and responsive web best practices techniques. And we also integrated all the experience gathered during the social sciences activities and that are reported in the CITADEL deliverables, and they were also put in the context of several of the questions that we created. We have developed more than 100 questions and around 80 recommendations. This is in the form of a tool, of an ICT tool, and here you can see a screenshot. So you can see here the 4 dimensions, and then here you can see the 2 dimensions, the 2 areas of the technology dimension. Here you can see the score, which means from all the points that you can get, you obtained 4 or you obtained 57. And then this is a screenshot of the document. There is a logic behind these recommendations. So, for instance, in the case of the question on data processing number 1, depending on what you answer, you would get one recommendation or another. So as I said, it's 80 recommendations. You can access this document in the link below. And this is the way we show the maturity. So if you get all the answers correct, or of all the according to these reports what should be done, then you would get 100%. So this is the maximum that you would get, the pink line, and then the blue line shows your actual results. And we do this by area, and then if we go into the dimensions, so the 4 dimensions that we have, then you would get this picture. And then, as I said, as a complementary to that, you would get the recommendations that would tell you how to address moving into the next step. In the case of use cases, so as I said, we are testing this tool and the other tools in 3 different use cases. One is Puglia in Italy. They are focusing on the tourism sector. The city of Antwerp is focusing on a live event birth, and Varam has 3 different goals. One is the capability of public servants. Another one is the improving the design and the use of existing public services, and third one is making all these activities knowledgeable to other stakeholders. You have here my details. So this is my email address. You see there the websites of the project, and you can also see our brand new promotional video of what the project is doing. Of course, we would be very grateful if you could also follow us on social networks. And I have nothing but to say thank you for your attention, and if anything, just please contact me and I will be more than willing to provide you with any answer. Thank you very much.